Ezeaku, wherever you are, if this message gets to you, one of the things I will tell you is to be ready to manage the division that will come up, that will spring up in your Omenala Ezeaku congregation, in promoting what I will call a newfound leader, a newfound fearless leader. Yes, your congregation will be divided. Some will begin to hate you. Some will no longer contribute money to the things you do. But these people will now join force with the new assumed fearless found leader who will now be preaching boldly to satisfy the curiosity of those followers. This message is for our dear brother Mathias Ezeaku, the founder of Igbo Love Themselves Charity Foundation and the convener of Omenala Ezeaku congregation. It has become really very necessary to make this broadcast. First of all, to thank our brother Mathias Ezeaku, and secondly, to also buttress some points based on my earlier submission when I talked about how we can easily carry out our activism anywhere, anytime, without recourse to rancor, without need to begin to call people out for public confrontations, and without insult. Before I go further, Mathias Ezeaku, wherever you are, if this message gets to you, one of the things I will tell you is to be ready to manage the division that will come up, that will spring up in your Omenala Ezeaku congregation. Yes, sooner or later, there will be a very big division among you. It has started. Before I explain further, I want to thank you for embracing peace. I am well inundated by your last broadcast, and I can categorically say that the lessons that I expected you to learn from what transpired between you and Zion, and as well as Zion Ministry and Ebukobi, has been learned. That very lesson has been learned appropriately, and you manifested that in your last broadcast. And for this reason, I want to specifically say thank you for choosing the path of peace. Yes, you highlighted a lot of situations that the southeastern part of Nigeria is on fire, that there is need for peace to reign. Thank you for embracing peace. And for this reason, let me bring you up to speed to some of the things that Mathias Ezeaku said in his last broadcast.
So I told Zion that I'm not ready to go to court, that I'm willing to settle with him. Then we agreed on settlement. So my barrister, they were there. I called Macon. I told Macon, please, the petition you wrote, withdraw the petition. Let us settle. At least there is fire in the east, so that the fire will not continue. Okay? So Zion will settle. And this is just a problem of an Igbo man. When you see Igbo youth bragging, dragging, you will think that they are going to kill themselves. But when there is a reconciliation, if you see them laughing and discussing as a brother, you will not believe it. It's just a normal nature for Igbo person. I'm telling you, that very day, we talked as a young youth. We hugged ourselves. Zion even told me that there was a time he was supporting my NGO. He explained people that he have donated money on his behalf. So we hugged ourselves. Loze also came that very day. So we hugged ourselves. I supposed to come out that Saturday, but the office that's supposed to sign my this thing was not available. So when I was released, we all went to Zokome's office. The barrister to Nnamdi Kanu. He started advising us, giving us fatherly advice. Before then, Commissioner of Police also gave us fatherly advice when we met him and told him that we have settled. We want the case to go. So, and if you are one of my followers and you are listening to this broadcast, I want you to know that what we agreed in the police station is that let the case go. Let the case do what? Go and die.
I am very sure that you heard Mathias Ezeaku very well. But unfortunately, the problem that Mathias Ezeaku will have next are his followers. Yes, some of his followers, not all of them, did not want to embrace any form of peace from the last altercation between Mathias Ezeaku and Akuzion. They expected the fight to continue. In fact, some of them had wished that what happened between Mathias Ezeaku and Ebukobi, as well as with Akuzion, should even escalate into another internal crisis among the Igbos. Yes, because some people were already threatening one another. Some people were already sharpening their tools, getting ready for attack. Some people were already getting prepared to attack their own Igbo brothers and sisters. A nation that rises against its own self can never stand. That is the unfortunate nature of human beings. Little wonder the scripture says that the heart of man is desperately wicked. While Mathias Ezeaku was making that broadcast, and after he had made that broadcast, a lot of his followers categorically told him that you have collected bribe. Some said that Mathias Ezeaku has collected money from pastors and prophets in Nigeria. Some also alleged that Mathias Ezeaku has been grossly intimidated, that Mathias Ezeaku has changed his narrative. Some also alleged and claimed that Mathias Ezeaku is now afraid. Some also went further to say that Mathias Ezeaku is eating people's money that is being donated to Igbo Love Themselves Charity Foundation. Why are they making all these allegations against Mathias Ezeaku? Because their expectations did not work out. They had a view, they had an opinion. They were expecting Mathias Ezeaku to come out and start to fume and start to cause another uproar that will bring about a very big anarchy among the Igbo brothers and sisters. These were their expectations. There was one man I spotted among many. He is called Ihedi, the Light of Africa. Recently, he has been making a lot of broadcasts, with a lot of energy in himself, calling it awakening, trying to sensitize, claiming to be awakening a whole lot of people in Nigeria. That is good, that is beautiful. This young man was one of the people that commented on Mathias Ezeaku's page while he was making that broadcast. And he said, the truth is that Mathias Ezeaku has been grossly intimidated, and this has changed or affected his narratives. A lot of people were liking his comment and all of that. But I tell you most solemnly, Mathias Ezeaku, like I said earlier, for the fact that you have accepted peace, for the fact that you have chosen the path of peace, do not allow some of these opinions from few or many of your followers to change the lessons you have learned about life, to change your humble beginning. I can tell you categorically, you are now in a very new, beautiful, humble beginning. Yes, self-awareness. You have been properly inundated on emotional intelligence, on self-awareness, on the better way to handle activism within the confines of the law. Do not allow these people to drive you crazy. Do not allow these people to lead you into the path of destruction. Do not allow these people to destroy the burning desire you have for change, the burning desire you have for the Igbo people. I watched your broadcast and I learned that you have actually done a lot at your age. That you have a house in Onitsha, that you have this, you have that, and that Omenala Igbo actually started from your own one-story building or two-story building. I can't recollect precisely how you were always out to help people when you were growing up, helping them to carry water the moment they pass in front of your house while you're going to school. The burning desire to help, to make a change. Do not allow some of these rascals to lead you in the path of destructions. You have started well now in a very beautiful, humble beginning. Peace is more than pieces, and peace is the absence of confusion. Do not allow any form of confusion to creep into the mission you are into. And this now brings me down to my earlier introduction, that you should be ready to handle the division that will come up in your congregation. The Omenala Igbo congregation you have founded, sooner or later there will be division. Yes, some people will arise among you. Yes, and they will claim that you have been bribed. They will claim that you have lost your sanity. They will claim that you have lost the vibes. They will claim that you have collected bribe. They will claim that you are afraid. They will claim that you have been intimidated. And for these reasons, a lot of online praise and worship members will join him or her in promoting what I will call a newfound leader, a newfound fearless leader. Yes, your congregation will be divided. Some will begin to hate you. Some will no longer contribute money to the things you do. But these people will now join force with the new assumed fearless found leader who will now be preaching boldly to satisfy the curiosity of those followers. Mind the watchword, to satisfy the curiosity of the followers. Yes, whether he's speaking the truth or not, whether he's doing what he's doing legally or not, so long he is satisfying the curiosity of his followers, then he remains their leader. That is exactly what will hit your congregation sooner or later. That being said, Mathias Ezeaku also, in his broadcast, admonishes members that you can do your preaching, you can do your activism without calling anybody's name. This was part of my earlier submission, where I try to elaborate and expatiate between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Based on this, I will allow you to listen to this very short clip from Mathias Ezeaku.
So, if you are broadcasting, please, you can say whatever you want to say, but don't mention name.
Yes, so this has also gone further to prove that my earlier submission were actually 100% correct. And I am very glad that Mathias Ezeaku has actually learned the required lesson to continue his journey as an activist, or to continue his journey as a convener of Omenala Igbo congregation. Similarly, in my last broadcast on this very topic, I also talked about the importance of working within the confines of the law with respect to the security agencies, that when a police approaches you, showing you an arrest warrant, that it is important to cooperate with the police to avoid being messed up, because this is as a result of the type of system where we found ourselves. Unfortunately, in the West, where there is law and order, a policeman will not harass you for any reason. Yes, if there is need for you to be arrested, you will get the information, or police will come to your home and they will tell you the reason for coming and they will pick you up. But unfortunately, some of our police officers are not professionals. They are not well trained, while some are also well trained. So there is need to cooperate with the police on the event of an encounter, of an arrest with them. So for this reason, listen to Mathias Ezeaku, where he talked about this very submission of mine.
So wherever you are, when you see the police presenting their ID card to you, follow them. You don't need to drag with them. Gently follow them. Police station is not a place people are being killed. Police station is not a place people are being killed. Police station is a place where your right can be protected.
I'm sure at this very point you would have been able to understand that Mathias Ezeaku is actually teachable, he's adjustable. Unfortunately, he may not have had the type of experience he had with Akuzion and Ebukobi that has to do with the law that brought about his transition into a new humble beginning. So many people in life may be doing the things they do wrongly, thinking that they are fighting a right cause. Some do not have the opportunity for a change, just the same way Mathias Ezeaku had an opportunity. And I'm glad he embraced that very opportunity, even though a lot of his followers are still fuming and then still conspiring and still making conspiracies now, making a whole lot of, making different allegations, saying that Mathias Ezeaku this, Mathias Ezeaku that. Well, that is the nature of man, and it does not change the substance of our message. Similarly, there is something very commendable and very unique and very loving that Mathias Ezeaku said in that very broadcast. In his words, he told his followers that the only person that owes them responsibility in this life is not God, but the government. Yeah, you know, some of you may not believe this. In my earlier submission, I've always told you that 90 to 95% of what you are going to church to pray for, of what you are asking God for today, government has the power. God has given the government of every nation the power to do that. Yes. And this is why you see me often, I talk about the government. I make constructive criticism to the government, because I know that when the government is working, when we have good leadership, some of these crises you're seeing now will die a natural death. Yes, some of the crises you are seeing now are as a result of multipliers effect, of failure of political leadership. Yes, it is the failure of political leadership that gave rise to fake pastors and fake prophets. That is also what gave rise to fake DBS and fake native doctors. That is also what gave rise to a whole lot of rascality you see in the system. If the government is working, only then will you see the true worshippers of God, those who truly love God and ready to worship God in spirit and in truth. You may not find them yet in Nigeria until you travel abroad in the Western world, where you see 24 hours electricity power supply, where you see good road, where you see that government cares, government is interested in repairing a pothole so that people will not have their cars broken down, where you will call 911, an ambulance will come to your home, where you will call an ambulance and go for an emergency to the hospital. You will be treated and you go home happily. Only then will you see those who truly love God and those who are ready to worship God in spirit and in truth. For now, in Nigeria, it is not possible to know the true worshippers of God because our allegiance to God is consequential. Because our allegiance to God is consequential, is conditional, is situational. Yes, there are things we want God to do for us. That is why we are going to Him. And those things are supposed to be done by the government. Now listen to Mathias Ezeaku.
Enwere onye Chineke ji ụgwọ na Igbo, ihe ji ụgwọ bụ government. Enwere anybody born by a woman, Chukwu okike abịama ji ụgwọ. Ife ji ụgwọ bụ gịnị? Government.
Finally, if you are a follower of Mathias Ezeaku, I want you to understand one thing. Mathias Ezeaku, in my own opinion, and from all indications, has not accepted any bribe from anybody. Yes, he is not being intimidated by anybody. Mathias Ezeaku simply learned things he was not aware of. Mathias Ezeaku simply learned good lessons that will help him to forge ahead more robustly. He acquired new knowledge, which is giving him a more humble beginning in the struggle, in the fight, in his activism. Therefore, do not see him as a traitor or see him as being weak. The decision he made is commendable. I tell you most solemnly, if Mathias Ezeaku has not chosen the path of peace, the type of internal wranglings and internal rancor that will have ensued or started among the Igbos, especially from the southeastern part of Nigeria, the current insecurity we have in southeastern part of Nigeria would have been a child's play. Because I always tell you that belief system is a very emotional topic. Yes, it's a very, very emotional topic. People take it personal. And the moment it becomes personal, people are always ready to go extra miles to prove a point. And I'm happy that this whole thing has reigned and finally ended. As you watch this video, I take God beg you, drop your opinion, drop your comment, and share this video with another person see him. God bless you. Do not forget that we are all brothers. Do not forget that we are all brothers. We are all Igbos. At the end of the day, we remain brothers.